Hey, Shalom. Kahala Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Baha, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Yakim, pushing this word in truth and sincerity. This is Amathia from the GMS Dallas camp, and wanted to go into a quick lesson in regards to this video here. Lord willing, this to be edifying. Like I said, it's going to go into how millions of Americans are getting ready to be homeless. Millions. As you know, we're gonna see the middle class is basically wiped out, and that's what this pandemic has set up to totally wipe out the middle class, and you're gonna have the upper class, and you're gonna have the lower class. So if you ain't, like you say, a so-called essential worker, which some of these so-called essential jobs going to be wiped away, and you're going to have the essential of the essentials, and you're going to have like Elder Malcolm said in one of his videos, the billionaires are coming trillionaires, and the trillionaires is going to become richer. You're going to have some of the lower level millionaires and wealthy people that's going to, be wiped out as well. you know so they're going to be basically a bridge between the haves and have nots. But let's go ahead and get this video, and I'm going to get a few scriptures here. Lord willing, this be edifying.
Coronavirus relief spending is bogged down again in Congress, and that is very bad news for people in danger of being evicted. The CDC has put a temporary hold on all evictions in an effort to protect public health and prevent the spread of COVID-19. But that order expires on December 31st. If it is not extended, 30 to 40 million Americans could lose their homes. Nancy Cordes spoke with some of them. Nancy, good morning to you.
Good morning. Yeah, think of the millions of Americans who have lost their jobs due to this pandemic. And now, 10 months in, renters owe an estimated $70 billion in back rent. And some of them are
$70 billion in back rent. That is a lot, okay? That is a hell of a lot. And what that's going to do is you're going to have people that's going to be, it's going to just only get worse. At the end of December, after all these people are getting ready and spend all their money on so-called Christmas presents and gifts and declarations and things like that, and they're going to be waiting for their then what comes right after that? People go with no money, then they look for what? That income tax. So they're going to be looking for that. But they're finna go homeless. But you still have people trying to rejoice for Christmas and stuff like that. All right? This is absolutely madness. But let's keep going. You know what? And it's going to be December, right? Let's get a scripture here real quick. This is Mark 13. I'm going to start at verse 17. All right? It says, "But woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days." And what days are they talking about? These latter days, these days that we have fell into now, the last days of the last days. Okay, the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, and it's only going to get worse. All right, it says, "And pray ye that your flight be not in the winter." And we finna be in the smack dab dead of winter when this relief for the eviction relief expires. If they don't renew, then you're gonna have millions, and I ain't talking about one or two, as it says on the screen, 40 million of Americans on the verge of being evicted. All right.
being warned that they could be tossed out of their homes over the holidays if Congress doesn't act. Renters visited a church on Houston's East Side Tuesday, hoping for legal advice on how to avoid eviction.
I'd be homeless. I'd be with nobody to help.
In Houston alone, more than 17,000 evictions have been initiated since the pandemic began. 300,000 or more could be coming if the federal moratorium on evictions is allowed to expire.
It's just out of my hands, basically.
That has David Flores worried. His construction work has dried up and his wife's unemployment has run out.
Whatever little income we do come across, we have to separate it between whatever bills that we are able to pay or whatever little gas we're able to put in the vehicle. It's just hard.
As cries for rent relief grow louder, experts say eviction isn't just an economic issue. One recent study found that more than 400,000 coronavirus cases and 10,000 deaths were linked to the expiration of various state eviction protections over the summer.
Housing is healthcare.
Diane Yentel leads the National Low-Income Housing Coalition.
I think it's very clear what the consequences will be if Congress does not provide an extended eviction moratorium and substantial rental assistance, and that is a tsunami of evictions.
She's pushing for Congress to add $100 billion in rental assistance to any COVID relief deal.
Now, they're going to just take this money and just bake it out of thin air. What that's going to bring about? Inflation, okay, and things like that. And if they do not come up with this and continue when it expires, they're going to get evicted. And their affliction is going to be felt. And it's going to be turmoil in the streets. This is back in Mark 13 and 19. It says, "For in those days shall affliction such as was not from the beginning of the creation which the Most High created unto this time, neither shall be." Okay? And except that Yahweh had shortened those days, no flesh shall be saved. But the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened the days. And this is why the days are shortened. This is what you're seeing with all this turmoil that happened with these this crisis for the eviction and people losing their houses and apartments and things like that. The Lord has to shorten these days, and these prophecies are coming about. Okay?
This eviction moratorium done to landlords, because they're not all fat cats. A lot of them rely on this rental income for their own families.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, especially the small landlords. And that's why emergency rental assistance is so essential. It helps the renters pay the rent, and it helps the landlords pay the bills.
Without it, even a federal moratorium can't prevent all evictions.
The CDC order actually only stops eviction cases that are based on non-payment of rent. So what that means is if there are other breaches of the lease, the landlord can potentially proceed.
Houston lawyer Jonna Treble represents dozens of renters through Lone Star Legal Aid. She's bracing for a flood of evictions if the protections do expire in 3 weeks.
All the cases from the last 4 months are going to come back to life instantly. If there was previously a constable on the way to the home to remove the tenant family, those will pick right back up where they left off.
I have no money for rent.
Chris Levy racked up multiple warnings from his landlord in Orlando, but just managed to pay off thousands in back rent with help from a national charity, which gave him a few months of breathing room.
Now, you think you just gonna receive money from national charities and things like that? No. Hey, and also, if you just look at it, when you see people that starting to get evicted and lose their jobs and get kicked out their homes because they already lost their jobs, they're gonna be hurt. They're gonna be sad. They're gonna be scared, and then they're gonna be spiteful of their neighbors, watching their neighbors actually still working from home, paying their bills and things like that. And when you don't got money, you gotta look. Already, you having people sitting in food lines in their cars for 5 to 8 hours easily. Just think, you can be there for a whole day, 15, 24 hours waiting for food. You can run out of gas waiting. This is gonna cause a lot. Okay, this is gonna cause a lot. You know what? This is 2nd Ezra 15, because like I said, this is coming, and this basically is about to happen. And that Crown Royal that's going around, they finna start sticking these needles in you. They're gonna start sticking things in you and thinking that you need this to survive, and you're gonna start seeing people that's gonna start perishing way faster. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 15, Okay, I'm gonna start at verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So they're not gonna be. They're gonna get to a point where these people gonna get evicted, lose their homes. They're gonna be stressed out, and they're gonna become spiteful to their neighbors and one another, and they're gonna start going in other people's house. They're gonna go into the neighbor house. The neighbor, hey, come on in, Bob. How you doing? You know, you like, I'm doing bad, Bill. I'm doing bad. And what he's gonna do? He's gonna come in your house. You're gonna feed him something to eat, and maybe give him some kids something to eat. And he'll be like, how do he get to continue on? You already stressed. And next day another time he's gonna come on in and he's gonna hit you in the head. Cause he's gonna be that spirit is gonna be on, right? All right. And like you said, the strain that Esau is gonna put on you, you won't be able to go out too far. You won't be able to go to your I'm gonna go down to my mom's house, or go down to go to the next state or things like that, because they're gonna start cutting the borders off from city to city and state to state. Second Ezra 15 verse 17, it says, "The man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Okay, and this is all coming down to no home. This is all gonna start with these people becoming homeless. Okay,
I have a 7-year-old daughter. It's life or death for me, really.
Rental assistance funding is tied up in this larger fight over a COVID relief package. And when I asked Speaker Pelosi yesterday about this, she said she wanted to extend the eviction moratorium, but she couldn't guarantee it at this point.
Right? They ain't gonna do it. If they do it, like I say, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, probably ain't the time to, but through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, once again, hey, we see that this may not be they may not approve it. And it's gonna be what? It's gonna be, like they used to say, smoke in the city. Not even just smoke, you'll see fire. All right? Where there's smoke, there's fire, but you're gonna see the flames in the cities. All right? Like the Edomite just said, hey, it's life or death with me. It's life or death. When you in those situations, those dire situations where it's life or death, people do a lot of things that you would say, I never thought, this person would do. Okay. Verse 17, 2 Ezra 15 and 17. "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor." Okay. It's a life or death situation, like the Edomite just said. When you get in those points, they will have no pity, because they're gonna have that spiteful thought of, why is he, still living good, and I'm out here homeless now. I had a better job than he had. I was making 6 figures. I was making 100 or some thousand. He was just making 60,000. But he's living good, him and his family, and now me and my family out on the streets. It's not fair. It's not right. They need somebody to do something, and that's what's gonna happen. My daughter's about to die, like, cause she's going through this. She haven't had a meal in 4 or 5 days, and here in America, you go over, Americans can go over 24 hours without eating, or they'll lose their mind. Okay. So they're going to not have any pity. Let's go over that again. "A man shall not have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword." And what is the sword today? A gun. You can even say a knife, something, but usually it's a gun. That's the sword of, that's the blessing that was given to Esau, right? And that's to be the blessing that's going to help bring down America and bring down this Edomite stronghold. Because the world will be destroyed through thermonuclear destruction ultimately, right? Now it was just said how China is bringing those troops over in around Canada, and they're in Mexico, and actually here in America. So all this is about to happen. You got to think, China owns a lot of real estate here in America. Then you have Russia over here in so certain parts of these seas and things. So it's gonna be, hey, we seeing prophecy all at hand. That's why you don't see a whole lot of people stopping and scoffing these days now when we're on the highways and byways. Because what they have been seeing, especially here at GMS, preach over and over, it's happening. Okay? It's happening. So the prophecy ring true. And that should build your faith. Let's keep going. It says, verse 19, the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and of the great tribulation. Because like you say, you trying to stand in line in these car lines for some food, they're going to run out of food eventually. And also, while you stand in these lines, you won't have enough money to run your gas and keep sitting in these lines to get food. Because you may not get back home. You stand in the line, you may be stranded. Look at the situation. It's a lose-lose situation that Esau has put you in. And then you have these bird brain people that say, oh, well, I'll be all right. I got this job. I work from home. It doesn't matter. The Lord put the spirit of someone to come in, like you say, come in. Your neighbor will have no pity on you, kick in your door and take everything from you. He's going to take, like it says in the scripture, he's going to take your spoil your goods by way of the sword. Right? It says, at the end, it says, and for great tribulation. So these great tribulations are coming. These great tribulations are here for some, and it's going to be for many in a very short time. Okay? And if we go back to what it says in Mark, let me go ahead and get this. Mark 13. All right. I'm going to read 19 and 20 again. It says, Mark 13 and 19, for in those days shall affliction such was not from the beginning of the creation which Yahweh created unto this time. Until this time, he created beginning of the creation which Yahweh created unto this time, neither shall be. So all this is culminating because why? Yahweh the Most High, he's created this time to happen now. That's why you got 7+ billion people on the earth. Everybody's here for what? Because it's time for judgment. Okay? And it says here, except that Yahweh has shortened those days, no flesh shall be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened these days. So the elect will be delivered. Okay? As he said, his servants will eat. Okay? The Lord said his servants will eat. All right, so with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Yakim that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Hey, like I say, these days are being shortened for the elect's sake, because it's a lot of tribulation is coming, and Esau is going to come down with great wrath, knowing he has but a short time, because these days are short. So with that, Shalom.